Okay, let's just dive right in. We're looking at maybe one of the biggest ethical questions ever. Imagine this. Your father, the person you respect most in the world, comes back as ghost. And he tells you to kill your uncle. An uncle who, by the way, is now king and married to your mother. I mean, what if a ghost ordered you to commit murder for justice?
That setup is exactly why we're doing this deep dive. It's so intense. We're really focusing on three sort of killer questions Hamlet asks. When is waiting a good strategy, and when is it a tragic mistake? And, can you ever really know why someone does something?
Right.
Our mission here is to pull out those key insights on conscience, power, and moral responsibility.
And the setup is just so brutal. Murder, a stolen throne, that marriage. It all happens so fast you almost miss how complex it is. Prince Hamlet's father is dead, killed by his uncle Claudius, and then Claudius marries Hamlet's mother, Gertrude. The ghost demand turns Hamlet's grief into this lethal public mission.
But here's what's so brilliant. Shakespeare slows everything down. He makes us sit there with Hamlet and his doubt. It's not a simple revenge story. He has to figure out, is this justice or am I just committing another crime, especially when, the whole system has failed.
So he needs proof.
He needs proof, but not physical proof. He stages the mousetrap, that play within the play, to get at something deeper. He's looking for psychological proof. He wants to see the guilt just flash across Claudius's face.
And that's the connection to our world, isn't it? I mean, how far do you go when the system itself is corrupt and the rule of law just doesn't apply anymore?
That question leads us right into Hamlet's biggest struggle. Action versus inaction. His tendency to overthink, to delay. That's often called his tragic flaw. The academic term for it is his hamartia.
Wait a second, though. Is it really just overthinking? I mean, couldn't you argue his real flaw is just cowardice? He had the motive, he has the chance, but he keeps finding reasons not to act.
That is such a critical point, because he does let the perfect opportunity slip by. Famously, when he finds Claudius praying, he stops himself. He worries that killing him right then would send his soul straight to heaven, which would, defeat the whole purpose of revenge.
And you see other characters who just act.
Exactly. You contrast him with Laertes, who's so hot-headed he raises a mob instantly to avenge his own father, or Fortinbras, the military man. Their decisiveness really highlights Hamlet's moral struggle.
Which makes you ask yourself, right, in your own life, when does waiting for all the facts stop being smart and start becoming, well, a moral failure?
And that's the pivot. Seeking proof is almost impossible because in that court, in Elsinore, everyone is performing. Which brings us to appearance versus reality. Claudius is hiding a murder. Polonius is spying on his own kids. And of course, Hamlet himself pretends to be mad. He puts on that antic disposition for strategy.
It creates this world where you can't trust anything or anyone. The whole play is filled with this imagery of rot. Marcellus has that famous line, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. It's like the whole kingdom is spiritually sick.
Absolutely. And that line between Hamlet's fake madness and his real psychological trauma from grief and rage, it just gets blurrier and blurrier, and you see the tragic result of all this spying and betrayal and Ophelia's breakdown. It's devastating.
It's kind of like today, isn't it? Hamlet performed for the king, we perform for our social media feeds. In this age of curated online lives where you're never really off stage, the play feels so modern. What's the real cost of that constant performance on our trust, on our mental health?
And that brings us just briefly to the final core idea, mortality, meaning that to be or not to be question. From the second that ghost appears, death is driving the whole story. It all leads to that graveyard scene, which is just essential.
Yorick's skull. It's the great equalizer. King, clown. Doesn't matter. You all end up as dust. It just levels everything. It forces you to think about whether life itself is even worth all the trouble.
So does the play suggest that, we can only act when we stop thinking about death? Or does seeing the futility of it all actually free us up to act more truthfully?
Maybe that's the final thought for you to take away. In the face of all this unavoidable futility, maybe the most courageous act is simply deciding to get out of bed in the morning.